everybody run to cover it, all your focus and attention is over here. What is the government doing over there? What is the administration doing over there? It's a sidetrack. Because my philosophy is the following. As long as nobody's neck is in that noose, then it is what it is. It's no different than the symbolism of a swastika. You know what happens if you write a swastika, right? You're going to jail. Whoever's hanging those nooses should be locked up, but if you notice, nobody's been arrested yet. Yeah, that's right. At the highway area right there on the thing, they hung nooses from a forklift. That's correct. Hempstead Police Department. But what is the point? What is the symbolism of a noose? What does that mean? Lynching, death. That is correct. So therefore, when those young men in Jenna hung those nooses, that was symbolism of death. That was symbolism of a time that is not too far gone that still exists. Because even though we just spoke at National Community College on Thursday to a forum just like this, and when we spoke, people were passionate about it. It was a small audience. And what I mentioned to them is the fact is real simple. Although we're not hanging from those nooses in New York, one of the sisters who came from the Midwest who goes to school at Nassau made it very clear. They're still hanging people across this nation. They just don't report it. And there's other forms of lynching. When I can go to my door, open my door, and pull out my wallet and get shot at 41 times and hit 19 times, that's a lynching. The purpose of the lynching is to provide what? To everybody else, not to the one who's just dying. What does it do to everybody else who lives and sees it? Fear. They want you to live in fear. But Sean, perfect example. Sean Bell, more recent example. So what is the message to you? You have to be conscious and aware of everything that's going on around you. You have to be the voice of change. As I wrote in my article, they consider you the hip-hop generation, the generation that's not going to make any contributions to anything. But I consider you Generation Next, the next to lead this nation. You have the power, but you have to be guided. And that wisdom has to come from the elders. And you have to take control of your own destiny by organizing yourselves. We do a lot of talking about the nooses and the lynchings, but why we don't galvanize like we did 70,000 strong to Jenna? Why we don't bring ourselves together and organize right here in Hempstead? 2 weeks ago, a young man was murdered, 20 years old. According to my man Serge with an organization called Strong, he's been to 19 funerals of people under the age of 24 who was murdered through gun violence on Long Island. So we have to organize. And he made it very clear. The people pulling that trigger, not the police. The people pulling that trigger is not the Klan. The people pulling that trigger look just like you and me. So we lynch each other. So the Klan, all they got to do is smart. They sell us the guns, go home, put on the news, kick their feet up.
That's true.
And watch us do what we do to ourselves. But what's important for you to know, when we went down there, the solidarity it gave me hope.
Thank you very much. I don't want anybody to personally say, giving honor and glory to my personal Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who's at the head of my life. I said to the Almighty that I would do that before I did anything else. At no time do I step on anyone else's faith or beliefs. That's just my belief. That makes me the man that I am today. The reason that I said the thing about the jump rope, I don't want anybody to think that I minimized or tried to downplay the fact of the noose. The noose is very real. The pain and the suffering that our people have endured because of the hate crimes and different things like that are very serious. Do I take it to heart, like I tell people all the time? A beast for the Almighty. Yes, I do. But I want to ask you the question, the same question that I posed to the students at National Community College. They reported upwards of 18 nooses being found in the news. Every time you turn around, the trucks were there, the reporters were there. How many times have you seen anybody get arrested?
None.
You see anybody being brought in?
No.
You see anybody being, but they're all the, sister, how you doing? Excuse me, can you tell me where you found the news? How long was the news? How long was the news there? Can you tell us all this? And guess what? It's not, they sensationalizing it. They're talking about it. And all they're doing is selling newspapers for our opinion. And you know what? Oh yeah, your grandmother, she picks up the newspaper, she reads it. Your grandfather, and it conjures up all these images. And it brings back that pain. But until we start doing something with each other, start loving each other. I asked the individuals over at the other college, my brother said that, some people said to me, yo, Bryan, sometimes, you know, I hear you talk, and when you talk, sometimes you say the same thing. Because the story ain't going to change. If I start changing from what I'm saying, please let me know. Because that means that things have gotten better. If they're still the same, I'm talking about the same old stuff. I'm here to uplift us. I want to empower us. I want us to empower each other. We have an obligation. Those on this side, for the most part, and the ones back here, that are shining examples for these young people that are here. One day, I want to see y'all sitting in these seats. That's how we learn to engage and empower each other. While we're sitting here, just like I used that example of the sister that was kind enough to go up and read that so eloquently, I thought it was beautiful. And leaders lead, and they lead by example. And we have so many young men, like we see that Gina says, we have so many young men that are not taking their rightful place at the head of the family, that are not taking their right place in society. I think it's sad. We are the first ones, the males, to run out and stand up for things that aren't right. When are we going to take the reins and start being leaders? Honor our sisters, honor our mothers and our fathers. I keep telling people all the time, we keep telling people, I'm going to stop saying I, but we, me and my brothers, Antonio Kelly, wherever he's at, in the room somewhere, we go out. We went down to Detroit. We went down to Gina. Me and his brother, I've been down to Atlanta. Go all over the place. I got 10,000 nieces and 10,000 nephews. I adopt everybody. And for those that don't know, like I said, I'm going to take the same soundbite. The reason that I call all of you my nieces and my nephews is so that you can connect with me. If you call me Mr. Jones, there is no connection. It's a sign of respect, and in certain circles it's needed. But I'd rather for you to call me Bryan, or Uncle B, or Big Bro, or something where you feel a connection to me. So when I'm looking you in your face, you'll know I'm sincere when I tell you that I love you. When y'all look around, everybody in this room, for the most part, we're only a couple of shades away from each other in pigmentation. So that means that we are that universal family. If we search back, me and Manas, you too. Check the coast. Check your bloodline. There's only one universal family. If you search back long enough and hard enough, you'll find out everybody in this world is connected. Do your research. I asked the individuals at the college the other day also, where do you get your information? We have to get, I was just talking, I just engaged 2 students that attend school here that are of different persuasion, an Asian American and also a Caucasian American. They were sitting outside. And I asked them to, why didn't they attend inside? And the young man said he didn't want to insult or offend. He didn't know if it was open to all students. How in the world do you come to a place of higher learning and fail to engage people that don't look like you? Ride with individuals that are moving forward. If somebody is positive, ride with them. If they're negative, more likely you need no reason for it. It's just how it is. And just because somebody looks like you, don't mean that they got your back. You better stand up for what you believe in. I walked I was looking at myself on the tape, and I'm a novice, and I'm new. And I see some things that I need to correct. But when it comes to talking to am I talking to family?
Yeah.
Am I at home?
Yeah.
When I'm talking to my family, I'm okay. Because I don't like y'all. I love you. I don't like you. I love you. I truly mean that. I asked the kids, I asked the young people at National Community College, do you love me? And I got some hesitation. And they paused. Nephew, where's my nephew at? Where's he at? Nephew, where's all the nephews? Back there. Right there. This kid right here is a beast. That kid right there, he had a symposium at the middle school. He is stand up.
Yeah, thank you.
Let him see you. He's a leader. I truly mean that. He is a leader. Because amongst all his peers, you know how hard it is sometimes when we're sitting around people that's in our same age, back in the group, we tend to be a little shy with ones. That young man stood up and said things that shocked everybody in the room. And he was telling them exactly why they act like they did and why he does what he does. And I tried to tell him, I said, nephew, do me a favor. Continue to stay on that path. Like I said to the sister that read, this is real to me. You see in my eyes, I get emotional. Because this is real. And I don't care who sees it. I'm far from a punk. I'm a man. But the reality is, see, real men, when you're passionate about something, when it's gripping and it's holding you, you want somebody else to get it so bad you can taste it. I'd like to shake every last one of y'all until y'all get it. But I can't do that. So the way I do it is I try to express it to you. The reason I was giving y'all signs and saying, like, focus on what's going on and make sure you listen to your instructors, your teachers, your leaders, your backbone, your pillows of strength. It's because they got your back. I need a favor from the young ladies and young men that are in this institution, that are going to go off, that are going to graduate and become the future leaders that we need. Do not forget about those that are less fortunate than yourselves. Those that they're not sitting in the seats that you sit in. I don't write no script. I live this stuff, so I don't try to jot down nothing. I don't know what I'm going to say until the Almighty says, say this. And this is what I have to say. While we sit around and we make jokes and we laugh about the things that take place in our lives, show me an individual that set out to be unsuccessful. There is no such person. But it's like when Grandma was making the cake. If you don't put in the right ingredients, you're not going to wind up with a cake. You're going to wind up with pie crust. Because it ain't going to rise. It's not going to reach the level that it should. We need to actually start lifting each other up. Now I'm going to ask the question here. Now let me see after I